Hello, everybody. It's your friend Kevin, and this is your vibe of the day. All right, then, let's get right to the cards with a good message today. So, this again comes from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reid. And our message today comes from the Well Watcher. Wisdom, power of the divine. So, how does this apply to today's message? Well, I looked up the date, and the date really is 12/12/21. So, we've got 12 that shows up twice. And in angel numbers, the number 12 really is, let's see, where are we? Relationships. It's about relationships and assignments. And it's about finding who your friends are and finding who your tribe is. And even understanding the soul path relationship, like your relationship to purpose, your relationship to why you're here, your relationship to anything and everything that's going on in your life. So the Well Watcher is sort of encouraging all of us to say there's a power, a real power, in connecting with your source energy, whatever you believe is the divine, whatever you believe is a greater power than yourself. The other message that I get from it is that we are in a really deep space of healing of old habits, the sorting through of old things. I don't know about you. I can't speak for you. But sometimes when I'm doing things that are somewhat off the rhythm of regular life, I wonder if other people are doing the same thing. When I share stories about what's going on in my life, I find people saying, yes, I've been doing that too. For instance, not sleeping or having lots of sleep, going through cupboards and donating, discarding, and all kinds of things at odd times. You know, most folks do their sorting through around the change of seasons in the springtime, in the summertime, certainly in the autumn. Don't really find people doing it on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock or on a Friday at 9 o'clock. You know, these are odd times when people are doing things they would not normally do at that time. So if some of this strange patterning is occurring and you're not ordinarily paying attention to the fact how strange it is, and that means the power of the divine, or that means the power that's within you that comes from a non-physical place, it's just guiding you forward. Since doing this daily spiritual practice, the meditation, listening to a voice that's not of me, it's with me, it's beyond the physical, instead of the ying, 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 ying stuff that used to happen, I have understood that this different intelligence, higher intelligence, spiritual intelligence is incredibly subtle. It isn't deliberate. The physical is the deliberate. And as I'm sorting and sifting and going through, realizing now more acutely that there are things I'm definite about not wanting and things I'm definite about wanting, and a larger puddle of things that I'm wishy-washy about. I don't know if that applies to you. It's in that wishy-washy, not sure, should I, shouldn't I, do I, don't I, I'm not really cool, the unclear. That's where the magic of the Well Watcher and go into the divine is. Because in that space of not sure, should I, shouldn't I, don't know, this feels right, maybe that should be, this whirligig of nonsense, that's the sifting and sorting. And what I'm now realizing is at some point in the parentheses of, we'll say, a 3, 4, 5 week cycle, I have put some of these wishy-washy things into this space. And instead of making a decision, liking, attracting, wanting, not wanting, I've just put it in the space. A bit like going through the sorting office or the sorting of boxes. You put these ideas out there and never really do anything with them. The subtleness of the divine, or the manifestation place, almost gives us a look at all the things you've thought about doing. Look at all the ideas that you've had. Look at all these choices that are available to you that you really haven't done anything with. What do you want to do with them? It's a little bit like you've got these non-physical guides, if you will, where you do. You don't. It's not a bit like they are there saying, "Do you want this or this? Do you want this or this? Do you want this or this?" The power that is greater than me, greater than the physical part of me, gets to the point, if you really truly are lined up with that, lined up with the highest good of all, the highest good of you, the highest good of your purpose, the highest good of your friends, the highest good of your soul, the highest purpose that you could possibly get to. Those decisions are like that. There are days where you can go through life where that's when you know you're lined up. That's when you lined up with a higher purpose of yourself. The point I'm making with this big chit chat is, should not discount the times in the wishy-washy land, because the wishy-washy part is the part where you get quiet, you get real, and you sit and let the divine, let the subtleties of the higher purpose speak through you. There are some decisions you can make quickly, and some decisions take more time to make. Those are the subtle ones. I've asked these questions when I can't make a decision. What does my higher being or my inner being think about this? What does my inner being know about this? And what does my inner being tell me about this? And then let it go. All right, let's read from Melody Beatty's book, and I'm hoping that makes sense to you. Sifting and sorting, going through the motions, is really you connecting with the divine to give you some clarity. Wanting clarity, the lack of clarity, is the ringing of the bell saying, listen, angels, listen, spirit guides, ascended masters, whatever you want to call them, give me some clarity. You're sifting and sorting, you haven't landed on anything. And trust me, the results you get, the answers you get, will be really subtle in such that we go through our physical life looking for these bold signs. And indeed, some of them do come boldly. They come like, oh my goodness. But others are, you'll meet somebody who will suggest something, and you were asking about that question earlier. It gets very quick once you realize, oh, there's my answer. Oh, and it could be on the pages of a book. There's a lady on YouTube. I don't know her name, otherwise I'd give her credit. She talks to the angels, and her messages come by very subtle ways. In one of these videos I watched, she went into a bookstore and she let her spirit guides guide her towards the books that contained the messages that she was meant to convey to everybody. And she'd feel a certain area of the bookstore, and then she'd feel a certain aisle of the bookstore, and then she'd be drawn to a certain book, and she'd stop and ask, is it the spine of the book or is it a page of the book? And she'd hear page 3, paragraph so and so. She'd open up, she'd take the picture, and then she'd know within herself it's time to move on to another place of the bookstore. And there were 3 places of these bookstores, like these 3 choices. And she was asking the audience or the viewers, you're either going to choose 1 or 2 or 3. And you, before you got to what number you chose a number. Then you skipped to what she would say the message would be for that number. And it was quite uncanny how the messages really fit. It's so random. These are the things that we pay attention to, those higher vibrational consciousness messages that don't always make physical sense. And saying that, I want to remind all of you that we are far more than the physical body, far more. And when we begin to tap into those other non-physical, which is so familiar. I mean, we've been in the non-physical a whole lot longer than we've been in the physical. So when we get to the non-physical, when we're learning this non-physical part of ourselves, when all of these skills begin to gush back, when we remember, oh my goodness, yes, this is how you do it. It is like, okay, going down the mountain on skis. Protect your energy is what today's message from Melody Beatty says. Just as we strive to protect and conserve Earth's energy resources, we can strive to protect and conserve our own. Become more aware of the impacts of things, people, and activities on you. Your energy, what feeds you, charges you, what drains you and depletes you. As you grow and become more sensitive to how things feel, so you'll naturally grow to dislike and be comfortable with whatever drains or negatively impacts your energy. Yes, some difficult draining situations are inevitable, but we can learn to protect ourselves in those situations. Sometimes we need to let go of people, places, behaviors that don't work for us anymore, that drain us or exhaust us or deplete us. Pay attention to the impact of certain people, places, behaviors, and events on your energy. Pay attention to how you feel when you eat certain foods, drinks, certain beverages. Go to certain places. Learn to listen to your body and your emotions. More importantly, learn to listen to your heart. Be prepared to let go of things and people along the way. Be gentle with yourself, especially with yourself. Learn to conserve your energy. It's a precious, valuable resource. You know, this is a time where we are sifting and sorting, where we are seeing the results of what we are lining up with and not lining up with. The gut feeling, and I'm not just talking about physical upset stomach, the instant taste of something that isn't right, the instant smell of something that is off. Notice recently if you've had these really quick, deliberate, adverse or attractive thoughts and feelings that come to you. This is a way that we're lining up more intelligently, more sensitively. I've noticed in the last 6 months becoming more and more sensitive on an emotional level, on a psychic level particularly, feeling these spirits and angels and guides around me constantly, the hairs on my arms, the long periods of time where it seems like I've been by myself for maybe days and it doesn't seem like that long. The listening to, just being in nature and just listening, being open and listening to not so much voices, although I've heard them, but messages like what's coming through, what do I need to know about today. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful and I wish you all the very best. Until next time, lots of love. Bye.